So this is a crossover I don't think I ever expected to see. If you had told me 10 years ago that Star Wars Visions, a series produced by Disney, would combine Star Wars and anime, I definitely would not believe you. And yet, here we are. Going into this, I was pretty excited to see what this show would bring. Whether it would just be Star Wars with an anime twist or vice versa. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. However, there is something I am disappointed by. My sub count. If you enjoy anime content of any kind, subscribing to this channel is a no-brainer. That's the quickest way to decrease my disappointment and increase your enjoyment. I'd really love to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I would greatly appreciate it if you were one of them. As I was saying, Star Wars Visions did not disappoint me in any way, shape, or form. The show had a ton of different elements that were all impressive to me. The biggest one being the art styles. I could literally talk about the art styles for hours. The fact that each one is noticeably different from the rest is really impressive. Each art style also reflects each episode perfectly, especially in cases like the Duel, TB01, and Akakari. Each one is stunning in some capacity, and I was honestly surprised by how much I liked every single one. Like, I was expecting to like a few of them, you know? But every single one was spectacular, and they all contributed to visual world building as well as visual storytelling. Speaking of world building, this is something else that I think the show did really well. There's a ton of inspiration from Japanese culture, which, you know, makes sense, it's anime, but it all fits perfectly. It's all integrated with Star Wars culture from the beginning, and it's so interesting to see different eras come to life. From more rural Japan to the more futuristic cyberpunk side as well. Each world feels complete, despite there being literally 20 minutes at most to establish them, which is impressive. There are some anime way longer than that struggle way more with visual world building. As I mentioned earlier, this show also excels with visual storytelling. This is something I think anime honestly struggles with, because there is a large amount of anime with a ton of exposition, but Star Wars Visions does it really well. Moving on from the visuals, I want to talk about the plot a little bit, or rather plots. Each episode obviously has its own plot, and while some of them are good as just standalone episodes, a lot of them feel like they could be pilots. Like, I feel like there are episodes that could be expanded into a full season or a multi-season show. If I had to choose just one to have a full season out of, it would definitely be The Ninth Jedi. The end of the episode feels like it should flow directly into another episode, and there's obviously a ton of potential for growth from the characters that are established. I also wouldn't mind more episodes from something like Akakari, because the twist at the end is pretty unique. It's not something we've seen too often in Star Wars. Okay, we've seen it at least once, but this turn feels different from Anakin's. It is also impressive that they're able to make full, succinct stories in less than 20 minutes. That's not an easy thing to do, but Star Wars Visions pulls it off. Also, I don't think we can talk about this show without talking about the combat. Some of the lightsaber duels are obviously over the top. You know, we got that literally in the trailer. But some of them are much more methodical. Once again, they are all entertaining. There's no like lame lightsaber battles like, you know, there have been in the past. While the over-the-top ones are obviously entertaining, I think the more entertaining ones are the ones that have a lot of meaning behind them. Like the last one in Lop and Ocho. You can literally feel the emotional weight when Lop pulls out the family lightsaber. It's one of my favorite moments from the entire series. All of these moments that are created by lightsaber battles feel meaningful, for the most part. The way this show can pull us into these conflicts emotionally in such a short amount of time is really impressive. I know I've used impressive a lot throughout this video, but I really don't have another word to describe it. But something I wasn't quite as impressed by was the soundtrack, which was surprising to me. Star Wars is known for its phenomenal soundtracks, and while some of these episodes did have amazing soundtracks, I feel like some kind of missed the mark. To me, the one that missed the mark the most was probably the Duel. The Duel was one of the most unique episodes in the series. but it felt like the soundtrack was just a straight rip from a Star Wars soundtrack. Like when you compare it to something like Akakari, right? That show had a very unique feeling while also having a very unique soundtrack. The Duel didn't really do that. There were also a few transitions in the Duel that felt like something out of Lego Star Wars. I know that might sound like a weird thing to say, but the music they used in some transitions just felt a little bit too awkward. Like when you're wandering around a Lego Star Wars level and there's just kind of generic Star Wars music playing. Overall, I think I went in with a certain expectation of quality when it comes to the soundtrack, and Star Wars Visions came up a little bit short in that department. Overall, Star Wars Visions is a very enjoyable show, I think, for anime fans, Star Wars fans, and just people who want something entertaining to watch. All the episodes are short, and I don't think I was bored for a single one. Thank you all for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, be sure to subscribe and let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I have a very exciting video planned for next week, so I'll see you then.